Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to our Real Estate Insight. This week, a couple of weeks down the road, I think, George, we've been talking about how you should buy a house, why you should buy a house, what's happening, what's not happening. I really want to get into where I think people also have to understand why you shouldn't get into real estate. There is why you shouldn't flip, why you should not buy a house, or why you should not, the reasons behind it, because everybody wants to get into real estate, but then there's also the bad part about it. And we want to make sure that people do understand. And again, you could always overcome this, but understand that there's always going to be this pitfall that's going to be there. Let's talk about why you shouldn't flip homes. And here are a couple of the reasons that we came up with our experience. And I want to share mine is that if you don't have the right funding and you don't have the right money behind it, even after you buy a house to fix up the property, do not get into flipping, because you don't want to go ahead and spend every single penny in your savings just to flip a house. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you don't have the right contractor that's gonna finish the work and you just have a handyman or something, do not get into flipping.
Do not. If you can do it yourself with your cousin,
Right? I mean, I started off when I was doing, when I was pretty young, and, I flipped a couple of houses in the very beginning. And I tell you, yeah, I personally did the work in there. I'm not a sheetrock guy, but I did the sheetrock too as well, right? I'm not a plaster guy. Maybe I could paint, but let me tell you, but the other stuff that gets involved, you need to have the right contractors. You got to make sure that they are available to finish the work. You don't want to be chasing out these contractors over and over.
Yeah.
What else? What advice do you have?
Another thing is a mindset thing. A lot of people think it's a get rich quick scheme. They see the YouTube videos. It's like, oh, quickly fix a house and get $50,000, $20,000, $30,000. And there's a possibility, don't get me wrong, but if you're scared of risk, there's no reason to take it. Like what we were talking about before, Rami, if you only have a couple thousand to your name, right? You have all your pennies into, like, all your eggs in this one basket. You're buying this real estate. You're doing handiwork by yourself because you can't afford a contractor that's going to do the job properly. You're going to risk too much assets, too much of your financial, basically everything you have into this one property that may or may not flip. Yeah. It may not sell.
And then you don't know how it's going
to
change. You don't know what's all of a sudden people that were, I remember at one point in 2007, believe it or not, I had people that were like, yeah, we're going to go buy a whole bunch of more constructions, right? I built like 2 new homes. And I said, no, let's not build any more homes. I knew where the market was going. Yeah. Guess what? They got people into building new houses and people lost thousands. The company actually went out of business. So make sure that you are financially secure to go ahead and fix his houses.
I'm going to jump right on that real quick, because another thing is, think about mortgage too. Unless you're paying it out cash, you have to pay a mortgage.
Well, let's go back to that. That's number 3. Hard money lending, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people say, I'm going to go get a hard money lending. Listen, they charge more than the mortgage company about, I think around right now it's about 11-12%. 11-12% return. And plus you have to pay 2 points. And plus you have to put down 20%. So again, you want to make sure when you are doing the flip that you have those mortgage payments available, even though you're going to make some money. You have those mortgage payments available in your bank. They do not care. They will come after you and they will take, because you personally have to be reliable for it, right? Mm-hmm. So again, you have to have the mortgage payments available. And lastly is that you have to make sure that you're making a profit in this property. So don't flip. A lot of people get into flipping. Oh, I'm going to make $30,000. Listen, you can probably make that somewhere else. There's the time that's going to consume you to make that money within a 3 to 6 month of span. It's going to cost you a lot more in the long run, right? Yep. Headaches, pain, and all this other stuff. Guys, I have made those mistakes. Make sure that you don't do it. And the fifth one, because now I remember everything. The fifth one, the fifth one, right? We're in the fifth one right now?
Yeah, okay. We're in the fifth one.
The fifth one, don't forget about capital gain.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget about capital gain, because the government is going to come. Mr. Uncle Sam's going to come and say, I want what you just made, 33% or 35%. Okay?
Yeah, factor that in.
You got to make sure that you have that. And I could give you more quotes, guys. So don't get into flipping. Quickly, George, you want to tell it again what it was?
All right. First one, you got to think about the financial responsibility of it. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It takes months and time and effort. Second of all, contracting, you can do it yourself, I guess, but I'm telling you straight up, if you don't have the right contractor available, you don't have the right contacts, and it does a sloppy job, costs so much, you're going to lose a lot of money on it. And third, risk. It's a risk. Especially we just talked about the hard money lending. It's costly. You got a mortgage. and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to go on in the market. You don't know how long the house is going to sit. You don't know how long it's going to sell. And if you don't have the knowledge, it's just not recommended. And then fifth, the bonus one again, right? On top of my head. Goodness.
Capital gain. Make
capital
sure that
taxes, Uncle Sam, guys.
So remember, people forget about the capital gain. They're like, oh, I made $50,000. No,
Yep.
you didn't. You did not make $50,000, right? The government is going to go ahead and say, hey, you made this money. Where are your expenses? Get your receipts code again. We'll dig more into that, guys. In today's Real Estate Insight, make sure you don't flip houses if you're not ready for these 5 things. Have an amazing day and tune in for more stuff. So that way we can help you.
See you guys.